In every sci-fi depiction of aliens coming to Earth, what do the aliens always say? What's the first thing they say? Take me to your leader. It's a real question. Does humanity have a leader who could take the responsibility to represent a human consensus regarding how humanity will respond? Let me just clarify. My name is Rabbi Shais Taub. I'm a teacher of Jewish spirituality. I'm not an expert in whether there is or is not extraterrestrial life. It's actually not something that I think about terribly often, but I have a very interesting thought experiment for you that I started thinking about recently when I read an article about a new organization known as the PostDetection Hub at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. It's a group of academics and scientists who've gotten together to figure out what in the world will humanity do if aliens should make first contact. And it's not a simple question. Now, again, this is not a question that I think about a lot. It's not necessarily something that I'm taking super seriously right now, but the thought experiment is an important one. And I'll tell you why. One of the members of the team there at the Post-Detection Hub, John Elliott, he said, if the aliens make contact with us, it's not really so clear if we should respond or not. Some people say it's the worst thing you can do. When a stranger comes knocking at your door in the middle of the night, in the middle of the universe, do you answer it if you don't know who it is and what their intentions are? Of course, others say that this could be something that would radically improve our existence, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Of course you should respond, but there's no consensus. And what he points out is, he said, look at COVID recently, that there was no consensus, or far from a consensus. There was absolute discord in how to respond. There was no way to get everybody on the same page. So why does this interest me as a rabbi and as a teacher of Judaism? It interests me because in our prophets, it speaks over and over again about a perfect world that will be ushered in when all humanity comes together. There's no more war. There's absolute prosperity for everyone. And this era is often referred to with the English term, the Messianic Era, but that's an Anglicization. That's an English version of a Hebrew word, Mashiach, the era of Mashiach, or Yemaisa Mashiach, the days of Mashiach. And I think that term is woefully misunderstood. Mashiach means the anointed one, because in ancient Israel, kings were anointed. It was part of the inauguration ceremony. It's like the swearing in on January 20th. They would put oil on them, and that was how they were installed as king. So Mashiach doesn't mean what a lot of people think it means. Mashiach doesn't mean some type of a deity or some spiritual entity. Mashiach is a human being of human lineage. In fact, we know his lineage because he has to be a Davidic king. He has to come from the house of David, who in turn is a descendant of Judah, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, to whom the promise was made that the rulership within the Jewish people would remain within his tribe. So Mashiach is a person, he's a descendant of King David, who's from the tribe of Judah. And furthermore, not only is he a human being, but his job is very human. What's Mashiach's job? Primarily, at least in the first phases of the Messianic redemption, is primarily sociopolitical. He's a king, remember? He's a political leader. Yes, he rules according to the dictates of Torah. So in that sense, you could call him a religious leader. But he's not so much a religious leader as a political leader who rules religiously. Whatever your feelings may be about that, I'm not here to impose anything on anyone. I'm offering an understanding of a term which is widely misunderstood. And I'm saying maybe it's something that humanity should think about. I'm not going to push my Mashiach on you, but I would like you to think about the fact that maybe we need a Mashiach. We need somebody who could be a unifying leader, who would get all of the nations of the world together to have some type of agreement. Now, I know there are people who are cynical and they don't believe there could be such a leader of such integrity, that they believe, like the old adage says, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. But if you're going to be cynical like that, you could also say world peace is also unachievable. But in theory, if world peace were achievable, could it be that the way the Jewish prophets spoke about it 2,000 years ago is the way in which it'll happen, where there will be a strong leader who will be able to bring the world together. So when the aliens come and say, take me to your leader, we'll say, yeah, that guy, Melech HaMashiach. That's the Hebrew word for it, the Messianic king. As I said, I'm a rabbi, I teach Torah. That's where I get my values from. But I'm an American boy as well. I grew up here, and I understand how Western sensibilities, especially American sensibilities, find the idea of monarchy repugnant. Monarchy literally means mono means one, archy means a system of government, a rule of one. And we had a whole Boston Tea Party and an American Revolution in order to get rid of that. And instead, we installed the rule of the many, a democracy. And democracy, in many ways, was an improvement over the types of monarchies that we had. You know, Churchill said that democracy is the worst form of government until you compare it to all others. And that's probably true, until you compare it to all others that are available right now. But consider the possibility that there is a concept of a ruler who does have the ability to rule with integrity and with honesty and with fairness and to elevate all of humanity. And even if I can't convince you that that's a possibility, at least then, for the sake of accuracy, I would like you to know when you hear the term Messiah, you should know that it comes from the word Mashiach, and you should know what Mashiach means. Mashiach is a human being of flesh and blood, who is a political ruler, who ensures prosperity for the entire world, and who will ostensibly have an answer if the aliens make first contact. There's a lot more to learn about Mashiach and preparing for Mashiach and even bringing about the advent of Mashiach. I have a much longer lecture about that topic. You can check it out right here.